The Awakening. The sleeping giant stirs. The Galactic Council had always viewed humans as a minor species, primitive, weak, and barely worthy of notice. For centuries, humanity had been content to remain in their small corner of the galaxy, trading peacefully and avoiding conflict. The other alien races saw this as proof of human weakness. But they were wrong. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, in facilities hidden from even most humans, lay humanity's greatest secret. The underground defense network had been built over generations, a massive system of weapons, shields, and technologies that defied galactic understanding. While other species had focused on conquest and display of power, humans had quietly prepared. The story begins when the Krex Empire, the galaxy's most feared military force, decides to expand into human territory. Their massive fleet approaches Earth's solar system, expecting easy victory. The Krex had crushed dozens of worlds, and their leader, Commander Vex, saw humans as nothing more than another conquest. As the alien fleet entered human space, something unexpected happened. Ancient satellites hidden in asteroid belts and disguised as space debris suddenly activated. The Krex ships found themselves surrounded by weapons they couldn't understand. Energy fields that drained their power, missiles that moved faster than light, and defensive barriers that appeared from nowhere. On Earth, the Global Defense Command finally revealed itself. General Kane, the leader of humanity's secret military, had been waiting for this moment his entire life. The hidden facilities opened, revealing weapons that had been secretly developed for centuries. Humanity's greatest minds had worked in shadows, creating technologies that combined science and innovation in ways no other species had imagined. The first battle was swift and decisive. The Krex fleet, which had never faced defeat, found themselves completely outmatched. Their advanced shields were useless against human weapons. Their powerful engines were disabled by energy waves they couldn't detect. In less than an hour, the mighty Krex armada was either destroyed or fleeing in terror. But this was only the beginning. News of humanity's victory spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Species that had ignored or dismissed humans suddenly realized they had made a terrible mistake. The peaceful traders they had looked down upon were actually the most dangerous military power in the galaxy. The Galactic Council called an emergency session. Ambassador Reed, humanity's representative, walked into the council chambers to find every alien delegate staring at him with newfound fear and respect. The same beings who had once barely acknowledged his presence now hung on his every word. "You have been living a lie," Reed announced calmly. "For centuries, you believed humans were weak because we chose peace. You confused our kindness for weakness, our patience for inability. Today, you learned the truth." The revelation sent shockwaves through galactic society. Military analysts scrambled to understand how they had so completely misread humanity's capabilities. Intelligence agencies that had ignored human space suddenly found their data was worthless. Everything they thought they knew about the galaxy's power structure had changed in a single day. As word spread, other aggressive species began to reconsider their expansion plans. The Void Hunters, who had been preparing to invade human colonies, quietly canceled their operations. The Steel Claw Syndicate, known for raiding peaceful worlds, suddenly found other targets. But some refused to believe. The Apex Alliance, a collection of the galaxy's most militaristic species, saw humanity's revelation as a threat to their dominance. They began forming coalitions, gathering allies, and preparing for war. They convinced themselves that humanity's victory was luck, that their weapons were few, that human strength was limited. They were about to discover how wrong they could be. On Earth, the reveal of humanity's true capabilities had mixed reactions. Some celebrated, proud that their species had finally shown its strength. Others worried about the consequences of abandoning their peaceful facade. The debate raged in government halls and public forums. General Kane stood before the Global Defense Command, looking at screens showing military buildups across the galaxy. "We wanted peace," he said quietly. We tried to avoid this day. But they forced our hand. He turned to his staff, determination in his eyes. Prepare all systems. If they want to test humanity's resolve, we'll show them what we're truly capable of. The galaxy wanted to see our arsenal. Now they'll witness what happens when Earth's children are threatened. The hidden facilities hummed with activity as humanity's greatest weapons powered up. Technologies that had been theoretical became reality. Defenses that existed only in classified documents came online. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their weapons. It was their unity when faced with extinction. The Alliance forms. When enemies unite. The news of humanity's victory over the Krex Empire spread faster than light itself. Within days, every major species in the galaxy had received detailed reports of the battle. The footage was impossible to ignore. Massive Krex warships, each capable of destroying planets, reduced to floating debris in minutes. On the planet Zephyr, home to the Galactic Council, emergency sessions ran day and night. Species that had been enemies for millennia suddenly found themselves sitting at the same table, united by a common fear. The Apex Alliance, led by the war-hungry Talon Republic, called for immediate action. "Humans have deceived us all," declared Prime Minister Hawk of the Talon Republic, his reptilian features twisted with anger as he addressed the gathered delegates. "They pretended to be weak while building weapons that could destroy us all. This cannot be allowed to continue." The Stellar Federation, known for their advanced technology, supported the Alliance's concerns. Their chief scientist, Dr. Vale, presented analysis that shocked everyone present. "According to our calculations, the energy weapons humans used exceed our theoretical maximums by 300%. Their defensive systems operate on principles we don't understand. If they wanted to, they could have wiped out any of our civilizations years ago." Fear spread through the council chambers like poison. The Void Collective, mysterious beings who controlled vast regions of space, spoke through their representative. "The balance of power has shifted. Humanity must be contained before they decide we are threats to be eliminated." But not everyone agreed with the Alliance's aggressive stance. The Peaceful Harmony Circle, led by the wise Elder Sage, urged caution. "Perhaps we should consider why humans hid their strength. They could have conquered us centuries ago, yet they chose trade and diplomacy. This suggests they are not our enemies." "Not our enemies," Prime Minister Hawk laughed bitterly. "They watched us fight wars, lose billions of lives, struggle with conflicts they could have prevented. They allowed suffering they had the power to stop. What kind of allies do that?" The debate raged for days. Some species called for immediate military action, others for diplomatic solutions. The galaxy split into factions, those who wanted to destroy humanity before it was too late, and those who believed cooperation was still possible. Meanwhile, on Earth, humanity watched the galactic situation with growing concern. The Global Defense Command intercepted communications between enemy fleets. Admiral Stone, General Kane's second-in-command, brought disturbing news to the morning briefing. "Sir, we're detecting massive military buildups in 17 sectors. The Apex Alliance has convinced over 40 species to join their coalition. They're calling it the Galactic Liberation Front." General Kane studied the holographic displays showing enemy positions. "How many ships?" Conservative estimates put their combined fleet at over 10,000 vessels. "They're gathering in the neutral zone, just outside our detection range." The weight of the situation settled on everyone in the room. Dr. Mills, the head of Earth Science Division, spoke quietly. "We knew this might happen when we revealed ourselves. The question is, are we ready for a war this large?" "We have to be," Kane replied, "but we won't fight alone." His statement confused the staff until he explained. Not all species joined the Alliance. The Harmony Circle, the Trade Consortium, and several smaller nations have requested protection. They're offering to share resources and technology in exchange for our defense. This was unexpected news. Ambassador Reed, who had been negotiating with friendly species, confirmed the reports. They're scared, but they're also hopeful. They see us as protectors rather than conquerors. If we can prove that, we might avoid the worst-case scenario. The Alliance forces continued gathering, but they faced their own problems. Species that had been enemies for centuries struggled to work together. The Talon Republic's aggressive tactics clashed with the Stellar Federation's careful planning. The Void Collective operated in secrecy, refusing to share their battle plans. Commander Vex, the surviving Krex leader, met with Alliance commanders to share intelligence about human capabilities. Their weapons are beyond anything we've seen, he warned. But that's not what makes them dangerous. It's their planning. Every move they made was calculated centuries in advance. They're not just warriors, they're strategists. The Alliance dismissed his concerns as the complaints of a defeated commander. They believed their superior numbers and combined technologies would overwhelm humanity's defenses. They were gathering the largest military force in galactic history. On Earth, final preparations were underway. The hidden facilities that had been revealed were only the beginning. Deeper underground, in chambers that hadn't been opened for generations, humanity's most secret weapons waited. Technologies so advanced that even most humans didn't know they existed. General Kane looked at the star maps showing enemy positions. "They want to see our arsenal," he said quietly. "They have no idea what they're asking for." The galaxy was about to witness the true meaning of human preparation. The true test beyond. Conventional warfare. The Galactic Liberation Front's massive fleet moved through space like a storm of steel and fire. 10,000 ships from 40 different species created a sight never before seen in galactic history. Their combined firepower could turn entire star systems to dust. At the fleet's center, aboard the massive command ship Destroyer of Worlds, the Alliance leaders held their final war council. The ship itself was a symbol of their unity. Built using technology from every member species, it represented the pinnacle of galactic military engineering. Prime Minister Hawk stood before the holographic battle plans, his confidence absolute. Humans revealed their hand too early. Yes, they have advanced weapons, but we have numbers. We have the combined knowledge of 40 civilizations. They cannot stand against us all. Dr. Vale nodded agreement. Our analysis shows they have perhaps 50 major installations. We have 10,000 ships. Simple mathematics dictates our victory. But Commander Vex, still haunted by his defeat, remained worried. "You don't understand. Humans don't fight like us. They don't rely on brute force or superior numbers. They think differently." The Alliance leaders ignored his warnings. They had made their decision. The fleet would strike 3 human colonies simultaneously, forcing Earth to divide its defenses. Then, they would move on the home system itself. On Earth, the global defense. Command watched the approaching armada with calm determination. The massive enemy fleet was impossible to hide. Their energy signatures lit up sensors across human space like beacons. "They're not even trying to hide," observed Admiral Stone. "Either they're completely confident, or they want us to see them coming." General Kane studied the tactical displays. Both. They want us afraid, and they believe overwhelming force will guarantee victory. They're about to learn why humans survived when other species fell to natural disasters, predators, and each other. The first battle came at the colony world of New Hope. The Alliance sent 2,000 ships against what they believed was a lightly defended agricultural planet. As their fleet emerged from hyperspace, they found the world seemingly unprotected. No orbital defenses, no military installations visible. The attack began with a standard bombardment pattern, but as the first energy beams reached the planet's atmosphere, something impossible happened. The attacks simply stopped, not blocked or deflected. They ceased to exist. "What's happening?" demanded Admiral Rex of the Talon forces. Before anyone could answer, space around the Alliance fleet began to shimmer. Reality itself seemed to bend and twist. Ships found their engines failing not from damage, but because the laws of physics no longer worked the same way in their vicinity. The truth was terrifying in its simplicity. Humans hadn't just developed better weapons. They had learned to manipulate the fundamental forces of the universe. The installations on New Hope weren't defensive platforms. They were reality generators, machines that could alter the basic rules of physics in localized areas. Alliance ships designed to fight in normal space found themselves in regions where their propulsion systems couldn't function, where their weapons had no effect, where their very molecular structure became unstable. Without firing a single traditional shot, the humans had neutralized 2,000 warships. The same scenario played out at the other target colonies. Advanced alien fleets representing millennia of military development found themselves helpless against technology that operated beyond their understanding of science itself. But the alliance wasn't finished. They had reserves, backup plans, and desperation driving them forward. The remaining 8,000 ships regrouped and headed directly for Earth's solar system. "If we can't understand their technology, we'll overwhelm it," declared Prime Minister Hawk. "No defense can stop everything. We'll sacrifice whatever it takes to destroy them." The final fleet approached Earth's system prepared for anything, except what they actually found. The solar system looked normal. Earth hung in space like any other world. The sun burned steadily. Nothing seemed unusual or threatening. Then they tried to enter the system. The entire solar system had been converted into humanity's ultimate weapon. Not the planets or the sun, but space itself. The humans had turned their entire home system into a massive machine that controlled the fabric of reality within its boundaries. As Alliance ships crossed the invisible barrier at the system's edge, they found themselves somewhere else entirely. Not destroyed or disabled, relocated. Each ship appeared alone in empty space, light years from their intended destination, their navigation systems showing impossible readings. The Alliance fleet, the largest military force ever assembled, had been scattered across the galaxy in seconds without a single shot being fired. Some ships found themselves in distant nebulae, others near black holes, still others in regions of space that shouldn't exist according to known physics. On Earth, General Kane watched the tactical displays with satisfaction. "Send a message to the Galactic Council. Tell them we're ready to discuss terms, but the discussion will happen on our terms now." The galaxy's understanding of warfare had just been revolutionized. Humans hadn't just won a battle, they had redefined what victory meant. The final revelation, the ultimate weapon. The scattered remains of the Galactic Liberation Front drifted through space, their crews struggling to comprehend what had happened. Ships that had been part of the galaxy's mightiest armada now found themselves alone in the void, their instruments showing locations that defied understanding. Admiral Rex of the Talon Republic found his flagship floating near a dying star in a system that existed on no known maps. His communication officer frantically tried to reach other Alliance vessels, but found only silence. The vast fleet had been reduced to isolated dots of light in the cosmic darkness. On the command ship Destroyer of Worlds, Prime Minister Hawk stared at readings that made no sense. According to their instruments, they were simultaneously in 17 different locations across the galaxy. The ship's AI systems had shut down, unable to process the contradictory data. "How?" was all he could whisper. The answer came from an unexpected source. Commander Vex, the Krex officer who had warned them, finally spoke. "Because humans never showed us their real strength. What we saw at our first battle wasn't their hidden arsenal. It was just them taking off their gloves." Across the galaxy, the scattered Alliance ships began receiving the same transmission. It came from Earth, but appeared simultaneously in every location where the defeated vessels drifted. The signal was impossible according to known physics, yet undeniably real. General Kane's face appeared on their screens, his expression calm, but carrying an authority that made even the most powerful alien leaders listen. "Leaders of the Alliance," he began, "you came to our system believing you understood the nature of power. You were wrong." The transmission continued, and Kane's words sent chills through every listener. "For thousands of years, humanity has been the galaxy's greatest secret, not because we hid our weapons, but because we hid our true nature. We are not just another species that developed technology. We are the species that learned to rewrite the rules of existence itself. The proof was undeniable. Every Alliance ship was exactly where Earth wanted them to be. Some found themselves in the safe harbor of friendly systems, delivered to allies who had opposed the war. Others hung in space near their homeworlds, returned like children who had wandered too far from safety. But the most shocking discovery came when the Alliance leaders realized that their crews were unharmed. Despite possessing the power to scatter fleets across the galaxy, humans had not killed a single enemy soldier. Every ship had been placed in locations where rescue was possible, where survival was guaranteed. "This is impossible," whispered Dr. Vale, staring at readings that showed his ship orbiting his home planet. The energy required to manipulate space-time on this scale, it would take the power output of entire star systems. The truth was even more staggering. On Earth, the Global Defense Command revealed the final secret. The hidden installations, the reality generators, the system-wide defenses, all of it was powered by humanity's ultimate discovery. They had learned to harness the fundamental energy that created the universe itself. Dr. Mills, Earth's chief scientist, stood before the assembled leaders of the Global Defense Command. "We call it the source field, the underlying energy that gives existence to all matter, all space, all time. Every other species in the galaxy uses technology that works within the universe's rules. We learn to access the power that makes those rules." The implications were staggering. Humanity didn't just have advanced weapons. They had transcended the normal limitations of physical existence. They could manipulate reality because they had tapped into the source of reality itself. "Ambassador," Reed addressed the reformed Galactic Council via quantum transmission, his words reaching every corner of civilized space. "We never wanted to reveal this truth. For centuries we hoped to coexist peacefully, to share the galaxy without anyone needing to know what we were capable of. The council chambers, once filled with proud and powerful beings, now held a collection of humbled leaders. They had forced humanity to show its true nature, and the revelation had changed everything. But you forced our hand," Reed continued. "You mistook our desire for peace as weakness. You confused our patience with inability. Now you know the truth. Humanity has been the galaxy's guardian, not its victim." The greatest shock came with Reed's final revelation. "The wars you've fought, the conflicts that have raged for millennia. We could have stopped them all. We chose not to interfere because we believed every species deserved the right to find its own path. But that path ends when you threaten the innocent." The scattered Alliance forces began to understand. Humanity had not been hiding from the galaxy's conflicts. They had been protecting the galaxy from something far worse. The question that terrified every leader was simple. If humans were this powerful, what were they protecting everyone from? The answer would reshape everything they thought they knew about the universe. The new galaxy. After the storm. 3 months after the failed Alliance attack, the galaxy was a different place. The Galactic Council had been reformed with humanity, taking a permanent seat, not as conquerors but as the guardians they had always been. The old power structures built on military might and territorial control crumbled overnight. On Earth, General Kane stood in the newly opened Global Defense Command Center, watching as delegations from across the galaxy arrived for the first Universal Peace Summit. The facility, once humanity's most guarded secret, now served as the meeting place for a new kind of galactic civilization. "Strange how quickly things change," Admiral Stone commented, observing the alien ships landing peacefully on Earth's surface. "A few months ago they wanted to destroy us. Now they're asking for our protection." Kane nodded, his attention focused on the holographic displays showing the galaxy's current state. "They finally understand what we've been protecting them from, all along." The truth had emerged gradually after the Alliance's defeat. Humanity's transcendent technology hadn't been developed for conquest or defense against other species. It had been created to guard against something far more dangerous. Entities from outside the known universe that viewed all physical matter as food. The Devourers, as humanity secretly called them, existed in the spaces between realities. They were drawn to galaxies with high concentrations of intelligent life, and they consumed not just matter and energy, but the very concept of existence itself. Entire universes had fallen to their hunger. Dr. Mills presented the classified data to the assembled galactic leaders. We discovered evidence of them 500 years ago. Ancient ruins on dead worlds, energy signatures that matched nothing in our understanding of physics, entire star systems that had been erased. The revelation explained humanity's secretive nature. While other species developed technology for war against each other, humans had focused entirely on preparing for a threat that most civilizations couldn't even comprehend. Every hidden weapon, every reality-bending defense had been designed to fight beings that existed outside normal space-time. The Devourers test galaxies before they attack, Kane explained to the stunned delegates. They send scouts, probe defenses, look for species capable of resistance. Our hidden strength wasn't just protection, it was camouflage. We made the galaxy appear weak and divided, unworthy of their attention. Ambassador Reed addressed the assembly with grave seriousness. But our deception is failing. The energy signatures from our recent battles have attracted their notice. They're coming, and this time they're bringing everything they have. The news should have caused panic, but instead it brought unity. Species that had fought each other for millennia suddenly realized how petty their conflicts had been. Faced with extinction on a universal scale, old enemies became allies overnight. The Talon Republic, once the most aggressive military force in the galaxy, offered their entire fleet for humanity's command. Prime Minister Hawk, humbled by his defeat and terrified by the new threat, spoke before the council. We called ourselves warriors, but we were children playing with toys. Humanity alone has faced the real enemy. We place ourselves under their protection and guidance. Similar declarations came from across the galaxy. The Stellar Federation shared their most advanced research. The Void Collective revealed hidden technologies they had guarded for centuries. Even the mysterious Deep Dwellers emerged from their isolated systems to offer assistance. But humanity's response surprised everyone. Instead of accepting command over the galaxy's forces, they offered something better: partnership. Dr. Mills announced the most significant development in galactic history. We're sharing the source field technology, not the weapons. You're not ready for that level of power. But the underlying principles, the mathematical frameworks, the energy manipulation techniques. Every species will have the knowledge needed to defend themselves. The offer was unprecedented. Humanity was giving away the secrets that had made them the galaxy's dominant power. When questioned about this decision, General Kane's answer was simple. Power shared is power multiplied. The Devourers have consumed entire universes. We need every advantage, every ally, every possible defender if we're going to survive what's coming. Training centers were established on dozens of worlds. Human scientists worked alongside alien researchers, sharing knowledge that had been secret for centuries. The galaxy's greatest minds united in a common purpose: survival. The transformation was remarkable. Species that had measured success by conquest now focused on creation. Military fleets became exploration vessels, searching for more survivors, more allies, more worlds that could be defended. As the first year of the new Galactic Alliance concluded, Ambassador Reed stood before the reformed council one final time. The Devourers will come. Our sensors show their advanced scouts at the galaxy's edge, but they will find us ready, not as separate species fighting for territory, but as one civilization, united in purpose. The galaxy held its breath, preparing for the greatest battle in the history of existence itself. The end.